In this video, we will look at parallel lines and perpendicular lines. Parallel lines are lines that go in the same direction and they have the same slope. We'll talk about that. And then perpendicular lines are lines that cross each other at exactly 90 degrees, okay? And they will have opposite reciprocal slopes. So we'll look at that as well. All right, first of all, parallel lines have the same exact slope. So if you notice, this equation has a slope of 2, and same with this one. They have different y-intercepts, okay? So let me go ahead and graph it and show you what it might look like on Desmos. So you have y equals 2x plus 1. Here's the first line. And then here is the second line, y equals 2x minus 7. There you go, they're parallel lines. They will never intersect. They will never cross each other because they're going in the same direction, okay? And then, so just to highlight this, they have the same slope. All right, perpendicular lines have opposite signs. That's what that means when I say opposite. The signs are opposite signs. So if one is positive, one is negative. So for example, this is a positive slope and this is a negative slope. If this is a negative slope, then this would be a positive slope. Okay, they have opposite signs and the slope will be reciprocal, meaning if this is 2, or we can also think of it as 2 over 1, right? It's the same thing. And then this will be 1 over 2. So they will have opposite signs and it will be reciprocal. 2 over 1 will be 1 over 2. And yeah, so that's, so in other words, you can think of it as the rise becomes the run and then the run becomes the rise, so that everything is flipped. Let me go ahead and graph it for you and show you. So here you would have y equals, I don't have to put 2 over 1, I can just put 2x plus 1. So there's the first line. And then the reciprocal would be y equals negative 1 over 2x plus 5. It doesn't matter with the thing, but anyway, you can see here that they are intersecting each other at exactly 90 degrees here. All right, so before we go to our examples here, I just want to practice how to find opposite sign and reciprocal slopes, opposite reciprocal slopes. So here you have, let's say you have a slope of 3 over 4. You would, since it's a positive slope, we're just going to put a negative slope for this. And then reciprocal would be 4 over 3. Negative 4 over 3. There you go. I'm not going to do this for all of them, but if you look at the slope, to see a slope in Desmos, just put like a X next to it so that you can just see the shape of the line right there. And then let's see if this looks like perpendicular. So negative 4 over 3. And then if you just put an X next to it so you can see the line. See how it is going to be perpendicular. It's been 90 degree right there. Okay. So for this one, let me show you in Desmos first. The 2 and then X. There's the shape of that line. So since this is positive, you would do a negative, and then this is technically 2 over 1, so this would be 1 over 2, and then just put an X so that you can see the shape of the line. There you go. So this would be, if it's positive, you're going to make it a negative, and this is 2, so then the reciprocal would be 1 over 2, because there's a 1 underneath here. I don't have to write it, but it's right there. So this is negative, so then my opposite reciprocal will be positive. 7 over 8 will be 8 over 7. And that's it. 1 will just be negative 1 because 1 over 1, and then so it would be negative 1 over 1. So it would just be 1. Okay, let me show you this one in decimals. So that'd be 1x, and then negative 1x will be your perpendicular slope. All right, positive, this would be negative. 1 over 3, this would be 3 over 1, which is just 3. Now this one is a little tricky. How would I make 0 negative? There's no negative 0. Then there's no, what do I do here? Well, this one, when you have a 0 slope, the reciprocal would be undefined slope, okay? Remember that a 0 slope is, it won't even do it. It won't, well, okay, I guess it did. So it's a horizontal line, so a perpendicular slope would be undefined, right? How do I can't do an undefined slope. It won't, that's not gonna work, right? So just remember that a 0 slope is anything with y equals. You can just put y equals, let's just say 1, like that. And then the slope for undefined slope is x equals, so x equals 1. Any number, it doesn't matter what the number is, just know what the slopes look like, okay? It's hard to like kind of graph those in Desmos, but just think about it. If it's a 0 slope, the perpendicular would be undefined, okay? So just make sure you pay attention to this. All right, so negative would be positive, and then 3, this is over 1, so it'd be 1 over 3. And then again, if it's an undefined slope, the reciprocal or the perpendicular slope would be 0. And then negative would be positive, 2 over 3 would be 3 over 2, okay? So those are the opposite reciprocal to get perpendicular lines. All right, so on this case, we're just gonna look and see if they're parallel or perpendicular. We're gonna look at these two lines, okay? So if I look at this closely, I am looking at the slope, okay? So let me just highlight the slope. So this has a slope of 3. This also has a slope of 3. They have the same slope, which means they are parallel lines. So same slope, parallel lines. Definitely graph it and just check. It's the easiest way to do it is just to graph it in Desmos. And the first one was kind of easy because it was already written in slope-intercept form, so I can easily identify the slope. But yeah, see how it's in parallel lines. Number 2, let's check it out. This is positive. Sorry, this is negative. I don't know why I said positive. This is a negative slope. This is a positive slope. So I have opposite, but I do not have reciprocals, nor are they the same slope. So this is going to actually be neither. I'll graph it for you and show you, but for now, let me write neither. They're not parallel or perpendicular. So for this one, look at this. So we have y equals negative 2 over 5x plus 3. And then the other one, y equals 2 over 5x plus 8. So if you look at this, see how they're not really crossing at a 90 degree, nor are they parallel? So that's the way you can do it. The next one, let me go ahead and graph it first before I do anything. I think they might be perpendicular, but y equals negative 1 over 4x. And then you have y equals 4x minus 5. Well, it looks perpendicular, so I'm going to say it's perpendicular, but before we do that, let's take a second look at the slopes. So negative, this is positive, 1 over 4. Reciprocal would be 4 over 1. So that's good. So this one would be perpendicular. All right. All right. let's take a look at this one. All right, so for number 4, they are not written in slope-intercept form. So either we could change it to slope-intercept form and then check, or we can just graph it.